I'm selecting the pen tool to draw this shape. Make sure when you start out that you change the fill to no fill, either by clicking this red line down here or up here in the palette. And then I'm going to make the outline red, and I'm going to make the stroke 3 points. The reason I do that is so that I can see the line as I'm drawing it. So I'm going to click and drag some points. And here again, the way that Wardell did this was he dragged the point like this, and then he clicked on the point here, which deleted the handlebar on the front. The shortcut to doing that is to click it and then hold the Option key down and drag it in the direction you're going. Again, it's just a different way of doing it. It's not right or wrong the way he did it. It's just the way he's grown accustomed to doing it. So I'm going to keep dragging spots around here. And here again, when I go to close this shape, you'll see the dot show up in the lower right corner of the pen tool. So I can click and drag straight up to finish up this shape. Then I'm going to go up here to the top of the direct selection tool and fix the shape so that it looks more like the apple is being traced. One other way to move the lines around is to actually drag the line itself. It doesn't give you as much control, but if I wanted to, I could actually, this is where the control point is, but I can actually drag from the line itself too. You can see some funny things happening down here, so I don't generally like to do that. One other way to fix it is to select the pen tool again, and with this object selected, I can add a control point just by clicking right here in the middle of the line. And then I can move it and alter it. One of the things you'll notice on Wardell's videos is that as he's recording it, a little thing pops up down here at the bottom and it tells you what keyboard commands he's selecting. It's a good way to learn how keyboard shortcuts work. So you can probably play with this for quite a while, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now because I'm fairly satisfied with the way it looks. Okay, so the way to duplicate this line so that it's fat, I'm going to select the line with the selection tool. The difference between these two selection tools is the selection tool, or the black arrow, selects the entire object. Let me change something so this makes a little more sense. All that changed was on that layer for that path, it changed the selection tool to green instead of red, so now you can see it because I have a red line. It's not as confusing. So again, clicking on it selects the entire thing. The direct selection tool allows me to select a single point or a handlebar or the line in between things. So with the direct selection tool, I'm going to select this shape. There's multiple ways that you can duplicate it to make it fatter. My favorite way of doing it is clicking the scale tool. Notice this blue crosshair showed up in the middle of the screen. That's where it's going to scale to as I reduce this down. So again, this is a keyboard shortcut. I'm holding the Option key down and the Shift key. And then when I drag, it's going to duplicate, whoops. It's going to duplicate that shape at the same time as reducing it. So now I have two lines instead of just one. So I'm going to continue drawing these shapes, and I'll play around with the lines later. Draw the stem really quick. Again, you can sort of see how much quicker you can do this than drawing individual shapes like that. A couple of keyboard shortcuts that I didn't point out while I was working was, if you roll over these different tools, notice how there's an A in parentheses. When I'm working with the pen tool and I want the direct selection tool, instead of moving the mouse up here to the left-hand side of the screen, I can just hit the letter A. A lot of the tools' keyboard shortcuts are the first letter of whatever the tool is. So this is the pen tool. In order to get it, I hit the letter P. Again, if I want the letter A for the direct selection tool, it'll change the cursor into that. So then I'm going to draw the leaf. And then here again, I'm going to select the whole thing and reduce it down and duplicate it at the same time. So the only two pieces that are missing on here are this line on the leaf that you can't see because there are other shapes in the way, and this part of the apple here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide those objects. He used a palette to hide the objects, but I prefer keyboard shortcuts, so I'm going to select these two objects, hold the command key down and hit the letter 3 or the number 3, and that goes away for a while. It didn't delete, it just hid it. I'm going to do the same thing with this part of the apple. Command 3, and it takes it away. Now I can play around with these shapes here to get the leaf the way I want it. And again, it's just a matter of playing around with the handlebars to get the shapes right. So to draw this line here, I'm going to select the pen tool. And make that shape like this. And then to draw this little piece here, just going to draw it very quickly. Okay, to bring the pieces back that I had before, I hold the command, the option, and then hit the letter 3 again, and those objects come back. Okay, so the best way to color these is from the inside out. So I'm going to select the selection tool and hit this inside of the apple and color it white. Then when I select the outside of the apple and make it black, you can see the lines on there. You can see the white apple in front of the black, in front of the black shape. I'll do the same on all of these. So making these ones white, this one black. And then this shape and this shape are both black. So this is essentially the way he finished off his apple. The only difference is I still have the red lines around everything. So I'm going to select the whole thing by dragging a marquee around it. And then just changing this to no stroke. Lastly, what he did was he combined some of the shapes. I'm not going to be overly concerned with that on this one. I'll do that in another lesson, but if you turned in this assignment like this, using control points instead of painting or whatever other way that you did it, that would be acceptable. Okay, and I'll show you tomorrow and the next day how to use the Pathfinder tool to alter these and combine shapes.